What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Seeking Sister Wife Season 5, Episode 8, Seeking the Unexpected. Let's get started with Garrick and Danielle. So in the last episode, Garrick and Danielle were really struggling, right? Because Danielle was complaining to Garrick that she doesn't think that Natalia is making any effort to bond with her or to get to know her better. Natalia's main focus is Garrick, and it seems like Garrick's main focus is Natalia. So Danielle is feeling very left out. So in last week's episode, which I didn't do a review on, but I did watch, Danielle was complaining to her husband about this, saying, hey, whenever I try to text Natalia, she doesn't respond. But then when you text her, she responds right away. So Garrick tries to gaslight her to make her think that, like she's losing her mind, or, it's not quite like that, Danielle. You're just imagining things, because he tells her, the reason why she can't text you right away is because she's busy, or she's doing this and that, or whatever the hell. So he even tells her, even when I text her, she doesn't respond right away. And Danielle is like, well, she might not respond right away with you, but at least she responds. She never responds with me. So they're going back and forth. Garrick trying to downplay it, trying to make it seem like, no, she's not ghosting you. It's not like that. You're just imagining things. And Danielle telling him, like, I have a real issue with the fact that we're going to be bringing in another person into our family, and me and her, we're not vibing. It's a real issue. Garrick completely ignores it. Garrick should have responded in this way. He should have been like, you know what, let me talk to Natalia. Let me let her know exactly how you feel, and I'm going to let her know, like, if you cannot get along with Danielle, or if you cannot form a bond with Danielle, then this is not going to work. I'm going to have to cut you loose. That's what Garrick should have said, instead of trying to make Danielle feel like she's crazy for seeing and experiencing what she was experiencing with Natalia. So this week, Garrick, we know that Garrick is in Brazil. He's been there for about 6 weeks because he is going to be getting married to Natalia, and they're going to apply for the spousal visa for her to come into the U.S. with Garrick as his spouse instead of like a fiance visa. So Danielle tells us that she's really struggling with Natalia not bonding with her, and also her and Garrick are going through some serious marital issues where she feels like she's not being heard. He's ignoring her, not taking her concerns very seriously. So Garrick and Natalia, like I said, they're in Brazil trying to get married, plan this wedding. And at some point, Danielle is supposed to be joining them. And she is really, really not feeling like going to Brazil at all. She's just not feeling it. So her sister-in-law, Samantha, comes over, and Danielle is talking to her about all the issues that she's been having. And then she drops the bomb of all bombs. Since I've been watching Seeking Sister Wife. She tells her sister-in-law that she's pregnant. Y'all, I did not see that coming at all. She tells her sister-in-law that she's pregnant. And I'm thinking to myself, what a time to be pregnant. While you and your husband are struggling, you have this third party who is, going to be entering your family, entering your marriage, and you and her are not getting along at all. Your husband now is away in Brazil trying to marry this woman. What a time to find out that you're pregnant. And I really hope that she's pregnant, because it seems like, I would think that we would have gotten some type of footage of her finding out that she was pregnant, of her going to or leaving the doctor's clinic, of her taking a pregnancy test. Like, that whole entire time, there was no filming going on at all. I don't know. That was just weird to me how this news just comes out of nowhere. And I hope it's not just for ratings or for entertainment purposes. And then, next week we find out that she has a miscarriage, and you know how they do, right? You know how they do it on reality TV. I really hope this is true and that they're not lying to us, but okay, fine. So we weren't a part of her discovering that she was pregnant, but here we are now. She's telling her sister-in-law that she's pregnant. At this point, Garrick still doesn't know. She hasn't told Garrick yet. And Danielle is just really down in the dumps. So maybe it's hormonal. Maybe it's also the issues that she's having with Garrick and Natalia, but she is really, really like, I've never seen her this sad. So like I said, she tells her sister-in-law that she's pregnant, and the sister-in-law tells her that it seems like Natalia wants to have, wants to take Garrick away from you. And that is so quite obvious. I even felt that way about Roberta. I felt like Roberta, even though Roberta did a better job in trying to bond with Danielle, I still felt like Roberta wanted to be the number one wife, that she was like fighting her way or trying to make it known that once she did marry Garrick, that she was going to be the queen supreme. That she was not going to be playing second fiddle to Danielle. That's what I got from Roberta. That even though she got along with Danielle, she wanted to be Garrick's, main squeeze. And this is the reason why she did not want him to take on any other wife, because she wanted to be the main wife. And then your girl Danielle was just going to be playing like a supporting role. So Natalia also gives me the same vibe. Like, she wants to be the main wife, and she wants to like push out Danielle as, the number one wife, and she wants to take up all of Garrick's time. That's what I'm getting from Natalia. So when the sister-in-law said that, I was like, yes, exactly. That's exactly what we've all been thinking. Natalia is trying to worm her way into this relationship and edge out Danielle and become Garrick's main wife. And then, Danielle is just going to be out there, in the periphery. So Danielle says that she's got the feeling that Natalia was hoping that her and Garrick would break up. And yes, I agree with that as well. But I just wanted Danielle to say more about that. I wanted her to give like specific examples or specific incidences where she felt like Natalia was hoping that they would break up, or where she felt like Natalia was trying to like take over and push her to the side. But she didn't give us any more information than that. Later on, Danielle calls Garrick. And he tells her about the wedding planning. He tells her that, the bureaucracy and the red tape that they're going through, applying for the license, and I'm assuming applying for the immigration stuff as well. And then Danielle says that she doesn't feel like Natalia even wants her there. Once again, Garrick, he downplays it, letting her know, oh, it's not like that. Once you get here, it's going to be a whole lot better. And then she finally tells him that she's pregnant. And when she told him that she was pregnant, the reaction that Garrick gave, I felt like it wasn't at all what I expected. So she drops the bomb on him and says, I'm pregnant. And he kind of just like stares at her. They're on FaceTime. So he just kind of like stares at her for a few seconds, like he was frozen. And then he was like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And then he goes, well, children are a blessing. And I just expected more. Their youngest child is like, possibly middle school age, so it's been a while since they've had, a new baby in the family. And for him to be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, children are a blessing. It was almost as if he was trying to convince himself that children were a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like he was trying to, because that's something that you would say when you're trying to convince somebody that this is a good idea to go through with the pregnancy or to go through with having a baby or whatever. You say things like, well, children are a blessing. And it seems like he said that to convince himself. To me, he didn't seem like very much like overjoyed about this or excited about this. He was just kind of like, what a shocker. Maybe he was in shock. Maybe as the news kind of sinks in, he'll be more excited about it. I'm hoping. I don't know. But yeah, I felt like his response to that was very lackluster. So, then she started crying, and then she said that, she really doesn't feel like she's going to be going to Brazil. She really, it does not want to. And that is totally understandable. By the way, when she was talking to her sister-in-law and telling her sister-in-law about Natalia, not really trying to bond with her, etc., the sister-in-law had a look on her face kind of like, what do you want me to say? I told y'all this wasn't a good idea. Like, what the hell do you want me to say? Moving on from there, let's talk about Justin and Becky. So they're at the barbershop. Justin's getting his hair cut because he's going to be going on a date with a woman that they matched with on some dating app. And of course, we have to have the random conversation with a stranger about their polygamous lifestyle. So the barber asks them, what's the special occasion for getting the haircut? Which I'm thinking to myself, that's not normal. That's not normal, because I don't think a barber cares why you're there to get your hair cut. They're just there to, cut your hair and collect their money. But anyway, so the barber asked them, what's the special occasion? And of course, Becky is like, oh, he's going on a date because we're polygamous. He's looking for a wife. And the barber was like, oh, wow, that's cool or whatever. Eventually, we find out that the barber himself is also a polygamist. He has 2 boyfriends. So as he's cutting Justin's hair, Becky is standing right next to the barber and even directing the barber on how to cut her husband's hair. And I'm like, why is Becky like this? Why is she so annoying? Maybe this is the reason why, Justin can't catch a break when it comes to finding another wife, because Becky is so annoying. Why can't she go sit down somewhere? We can still carry on the conversation for the scene with her sitting down somewhere. Why is she standing right next to the barber as this man is doing his job? And he knows what he's doing, because when she told him, oh, it's uneven right here, he was like, I know, step back. I'm the professional. I was going to come back and, straighten it up. So another thing, Justin must have doubled up on the tanning solution or the self-tanning or whatever the hell he's doing, because he was looking extra ethnic. Okay. He was looking super ethnic as he was sitting in that barber seat, because I'm looking at this man. I'm like, wow, you're like about 5 shades darker than you were last week. You're looking like P. Diddy over here. What the hell is going on? Are you addicted to tanning? Like, what is happening here? Anyways, moving on. So they're back at home. He's getting ready for his date with Yari. Her name is Yari. And as he's getting ready, Becky is steady hovering over him as he's getting ready for this date. And she's telling him the do's and the don'ts. Don't do this, don't do that. Make sure that you pull out her chair. Ask her this, say that. And I'm like, Becky, I'm getting annoyed with you, and I don't even live with you. No wonder Justin is sort of like, kind of like on cruise control. His whole personality and his whole demeanor is very much like there's no emotion. There's no, he just stays one tone, even toned throughout. He doesn't get excited. He doesn't get mad. And it's probably because he had to he's numb. Excuse me. He's probably extremely numb from dealing with Becky. She has to do everything for him. And I don't think he wants it that way. I think he just kind of he gave up fighting it a long time ago. He just I'm gonna just let her do whatever the hell she wants to do, because it's so much easier just to give in than to fight her, because she's not going to change. She's just very annoying and very controlling and just very micromanaging. And I just don't, it's very annoying. So he's getting ready for his damn date. And then Yari evidently did not know, because this is their second date, not their first. This is their second date. The first date we were not privy to. And they tell us that Yari did not know when she matched with Justin that he was a polygamist and he was looking for a second wife. It wasn't until they actually went out on their first date that he told her, yeah, I have a wife already and I'm looking for another. And Yari was really shocked about that, but it seems like she was curious, because now she's here on a second date with him. So they're on their second date and everything is going well, I guess. And during the date, Justin asked if she was okay with the polygamist lifestyle. And Yari said that she really wasn't sure. She had to think about it. Now, they were getting along really well, but Justin tells us even if me and Yari are getting along, she still has to pass the Becky test. She has to get along, and she has to also vibe with Becky. So after dinner, they're taking a walk and they're holding hands, which was a good sign, I guess, for Justin. It was a good sign. They're holding hands, and at the end of the date, he asked her for a kiss goodnight. And at first, she was acting really shy. I think when he tried to kiss her on the lips, she turned her head a little bit and he got her on the cheek or on the forehead or something. And so eventually, she relented and they kissed a couple of times on the lips. And the producers asked her afterwards, so how was the kiss? And Yari says, it was good, but the whole time I was thinking about his wife. So, this is very strange and new to her, I guess. And I seriously doubt that it's going to go anywhere. I think this is going to be another big fail, because she didn't sign up for polygamy. She thought she was signing up for a regular monogamous relationship. So her acting like, she's going to think about it and she's not really sure how she feels about polygamy, that tells me that she's just not down with it. Moving on to Shane and Ashley. So Shane is meeting up with a friend and he's telling his friend about Ashley and the date that they had with Sarah. And Shane expresses his doubts with Sarah, saying that he doesn't think that Sarah is serious about dating them as a couple, which I'm not sure why he's saying that, because Sarah told him time and time again that she is serious about them. She does like Ashley, and she's cool with Shane as well. So she kept on telling him during their date that she was looking for something serious. So why now is he telling his friend that Sarah is just playing games? I don't know. Could it possibly be because he doesn't want his wife to have a wife and he's just pretending to go along with it to keep her happy? But deep down inside, Shane is not down with any of this at all, because he also says to his friend that he is really afraid that one of these women will take Ashley away from him. So he's very insecure about it. He obviously doesn't like it. I'm not exactly sure why he can't talk to Ashley about it, why he can't let Ashley know how he really feels about it, because Ashley seems to be the kind of girl that, would take his feelings into consideration. So I'm not understanding why there's this issue between him and his wife where he can't tell her how he really feels about it. So he talks to his friend about, all of his reservations about Sarah. And then he tells his friend that the whole reason why they even began this journey of finding another wife is because he had a cancer scare. And because of his cancer scare, he realized that, it's very possible that he may not live as long as he wants. And so in order for, I guess what they're trying to do is, in case anything happens to Shane, they want to find a third party already now. So if anything should happen to him, Ashley already has a partner to take care of her. So I have two questions. Number one, why does Ashley need somebody to take care of her? Is she not able to take care of herself? Number two, why does it have to be done right now? And what if Shane ends up living to be 100 years old? Is he going to change his mind about having a sister wife? If he realizes that, okay, he's living longer and longer and longer, and is he going to be like, okay, so the whole purpose of having another wife was to take care of Ashley, but now, I'm healthy again and I'm living a long time, let's kick her out. I don't understand this thinking at all. Shane and Ashley confused the hell out of me, because number one, I really thought that they had said that when they found a sister wife, the sister wife had to be open to having a baby with Shane. But that has never been talked about again. So I'm beginning to second guess myself into wondering if I really did hear that. Maybe I didn't. Maybe my mind's playing tricks on me. Number two, okay, so that was crazy that, I thought that about them. And then I forgot what my second point was. But everything about them is just confusing, because he acts like, yes, I want to do this. I want to go along with this because it's going to make my wife happy, so on and so forth. But then when it comes down to it, when she finds someone that she's vibing with, now he starts nitpicking and picking her apart and talking about all the negatives about this particular woman, instead of encouraging the relationship and supporting his wife and all of that. So I'm very confused about Shane and Ashley. There's not much else to say about them. The next time that we see them, they're chilling at home with their baby, and he's telling her about his outing with his friend and how he opened up to his friend and was revealing all of his deepest, darkest secrets about the whole situation, how he began crying, because he did cry when he was talking to his friend. He got really overwhelmed and he started crying, and then he ended up just walking away and leaving. And I guess Ashley was really proud of him for opening up and being so vulnerable. Then they talk about the scan that he's been putting off, because he's supposed to go back to the doctor to get a scan to make sure that the cancer cells have not reemerged. So he's been putting it off, but he's like, I'm going to have to just, bite the bullet and do it. So they agree to do that. And then he asked her, how do you feel about Sarah? And Ashley says, I still feel really good about Sarah. So I know that put the fear of death in Shane, to hear his wife say that she still feels really good about, making Sarah her sister wife, and that, they're getting along pretty well. Moving on to the Davis family. So they're all outside having s'mores, and Nick wants to make sure that Danielle is really on board with dating another person, because the next person that comes into their family, Danielle is going to have to marry them, because right now Jennifer and April are married to each other. So the next wife that comes in, Danielle is going to marry that person. So it's understandable why Danielle was initially having a lot of reservation, because she probably takes marriage seriously, I guess. I don't know. And so for her to marry somebody, and it's not like she wants to get married to somebody. She is, fine with the way things are now, but they're forcing her to do this. So no wonder she ran away from home and was scared to death to go through this process, because she has to marry somebody else. And it might be somebody that she's really not vibing with, really doesn't like. And what if everybody else likes her, but she doesn't? She's going to be forced into this marriage, or she's going to have to run away again. So Nick is asking her, are you 100% sure that you really want to go through with this? And she says, yes, I'm sure. But Nick tells us, even though Danielle said yes, he's got his good eye on her, because he doesn't really know for sure at this point if she's saying yes because that's how she really feels, or is she saying yes just to get along with everybody else. But deep down inside, she really doesn't want to do it, and she's going to end up running again. Now, I'm thinking to myself, Nick is a master manipulator. Somehow or another, okay? Somehow or another, this man has convinced 3 adults. He has convinced 3 adults to allow him to stay home and not work. And before they had Vera, before the baby came along, he was staying at home, supposedly reading to expand his knowledge, while his wives went to work. And they all think this is a good idea. He's convinced them that this is a good idea for him to not work, for him to not provide. Because the whole thing of polygamy, I thought, was, number one, okay, polygamy just meaning to have more than one spouse or whatever. That's all it means. But I thought that there was something about, like the man being the one to provide for his expanding family, take care of all of his wives, take care of all of his children. Like that was sort of understood. But somehow or another, Nick has convinced his wives that he's not going to be the one working. He's going to stay at home to read and expand his knowledge while the women go out and work and bring in the income. And then when the baby came along, he's going to be a stay-at-home dad, which is really admirable. A whole lot more admirable than him sitting at home reading books all day while everybody else went to work. So now that Vera is around, the fact that he's taking care of the baby, I have a little bit more respect for him. But then he's also convinced them to marry each other. So he is not going to have any kind of legal obligation to his wives or any type of marital obligation to his wives, because he's not married to any of them. He's convinced them to work, take care of him, and to not marry him, but marry each other. I've watched them for 2 years, and I'm still bewildered on how he's been able to manipulate these people's minds into doing this. Now they're about to manipulate Danielle into marrying someone who she probably really doesn't want to marry, whoever it is. Oh man, like I said, I've said this before. Whatever Nick got going on, if he can bottle it up and sell it, he'll be a multimillionaire. But then that would require work, which he doesn't do. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.